just wanted to say hi to start. We are gonna wait for a few people. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for coming and joining us here on the Colors by Gina color page. We're really excited to have an amazing class today. So we want to share with you all this amazing knowledge. Hello, hello. One thing to remember also, guys, when you're coming to these classes, whether you're a first timer or whether you've done it for every week since the time we've been at home, we always want you to ask questions and to be involved and to give us any of the feedback you have and the pictures you've taken. So we're sharing some streams now, just waiting for a few people to come on. But I'm super excited to introduce, again, I'm Heather Nita. I'm the International Assistant Director of COLOURS by Gina Education Team. And today we have the incredible opportunity for our international artist, Mr. Richie Roman, to teach us the piano curl highlighting technique. So he's going to be showing you, and we're going to be answering questions along the way. Feel free to ask those questions. We will have a fun interactive class. And he will have all of the information posted after so that you can always follow along. But without further ado, I'm just waiting for a couple more people. But you know what, Richie, I'm so excited for this. So over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Richie Roman, and thank you for joining me. Sorry, Heather, that I couldn't hear you, but I could see you, and you look gorgeous today, as usual. So you're welcome, my dear. I'm glad to be here today to be sharing with you guys a technique that I love using, and I use it on a regular basis. And I would say 3 to 5 times a week, I use this technique. I call it piano curls because as I'm applying the color, I leave some space dark and some space light. And in my mind, it ends up looking like a piano. Now, today we're going to be using Curated Colors by Gina. Fantastic color line filled with some amazing ingredients. Baobab, which is a hair moisturizer, which for curlies, we need all the moisture we can get. And so the ingredients like Baobab and phytocollagen and biotin all help our jobs become a little easier because we're showing our girls, not only do we know what we're going to do to your curls, but we're going to use the best ingredients to nurture your curls as they grow. Because beautiful color, let's face it, is beautiful. But if it looks dried and dead because you over-processed, it's never going to look its best. So using something like the Colors by Gina line, you're going to get that maximum result of shine, of depth, of all the things we're wanting in curls. So let's get started on the head. What I'm using today, I pre-mixed for you, is a 5.0 and 5.3. Now I went 5.0, 5.3 because I feel like I'm a 5.0 guy living in a 9.9 world. I love goldens, I love blondes, I love bronzes. I like ashy, but I feel like we've just gone through such a dark time and we're going through such a dark time with the quarantine that I want to brighten and glow after this. I want to feel warmth. And so the 5 gives me some warmth, but is blue-based. So it's going to keep that warmth from going too far into the brassy. Again, my aesthetic is golden. So I'm going to add just a touch of 5.3, which is golden, to even amp up my golden. And again, because it's a blue-based level 5, you're going to get in that really pretty dark chestnut tone. And then the golden is going to go in there when it hits the sunlight and give it a beautiful Saint-Tropez, Maldives kind of vibe. Okay? So that's my 5.0, 5.3. And on the website, you guys can find all the exact formulas. They've all been broken down for you guys online where you can find them, the 5.0 and the 5.3, and my mixing ratios. But I wanted this to be a little bit more about the technique and less about the formulation of the colors and all that. This is going to be more to kind of get you to think outside of the box with your application, okay? I also have mixed up some lightning dust, the most amazing lightning dust you'll ever use. Very fine particles, which make it really easy and smooth to spread. And then another thing I really love about this is you can mix it 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, or 1 to 2. So depending on the porosity of your curly girl, depending on the density and thickness of her curl, when it's super thick and super coarse and super coily. You want that lighter, smoother consistency to get every nook and cranny. Whereas when it's straighter or wavier, you can go with a thicker consistency and make sure you get even application and saturation. So I've mixed it 1 to 2 because I want a nice creamy consistency. Hey, this is my girl. This head's already done, so I'm going to save that for the end to show you guys. What we're going to be working on is this half of her head right here, which is still dark. When you part for the piano technique, you're going to be making circles because curls are round. So we don't want any harsh lines of demarcation. We don't want any invisible highlights peeking out of nowhere. And we don't want this to grow out with her having hard lines in her curls. So I'm going to take one circle, which is going to be the top of her head, right here, small circle. Then we're going to make a second circle and then a third circle. And just to show you, I've already separated hers and pinned it up. So there's one circle line going there. There's my second circle line going there. And then I have my third and final line, which is the cusp of the head. Okay? What I like to do is I pin these up from the beginning and I start my center circle wherever her part is. If her part is to the side or her cowlick is to the side, that's where I start my circle because that's where the sun would be hitting the hair, making it the most light. We're going for natural Saint-Tropez, okay? Now, would blue and gold make a green, Matthew? That's a great question. Blue and gold can make a green, but they also can make a beige, and our blue base is so good and the gold is so warm that together they make a beautiful beigey warmer tone, not a harsh green tone. Great question. Now, it may look green as it's oxidizing. Let it do its thing. Don't be afraid. It will get to a beautiful shade. Okay? Great question. Now, I'm going to pin these back up. Now, when we drop our first circle, which is going to be this section back in here, you can break that up into 2 sections like I've done here. Again, I did it that way for the class so that you can see the end result. But you could take this whole section as one section and break that into your curls. Or you can split it in half like I'm doing. First thing I do is I take my base color, my 5.3, 5.0, and I'm going to just saturate my base. Now, whether I was changing her color or just going for shine and enhancement, I like to stay on tone when I do this technique at the root. Again, I'm not reinventing her wheel here. This is for our first-time girl, first-time color. She's afraid. So I'm not going to change the whole dynamic. I'm going to stay close to her base, but I still want some shine in that hair that's not getting highlighted. I feel like if you don't color the hair out of the highlight, you're kind of washing your car in the wash the tires. I like them all washed shiny together. Okay, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to apply this color to my base, just into the root area. Okay, and because curls are thick, even though you're holding this as one section, don't forget to get in there and separate it and make sure that you're getting the innards, a cooking term, the innards, the guts. Make sure you're getting in there and getting them. Okay. Now I grab a comb, and with curls, I never grab combs. But because this is for color application, I'm going to just kind of give it a light zhuzh and just kind of blend that color down, okay? Here's where we start the piano part. Please excuse my drawings. Online, there's a much better picture of this. When we're applying the color to the curls, some curls are going to get a deep application, which would be from about 1.5 inches of the root down, saturating it from there down with your lightener. Some are only going to get mid application, which is from the middle of the curl down. And some of the curls are only going to get the tips done. Now, don't feel sorry for this guy because he always feels left out because he just gets a tip, because he plays a starring role in this production, folks. Remember, every time you have a dark area, it gives the curl on top of it a chance to be a star. We need some of those dark areas for these bright guys to really become the stars of the show. Okay, this again is going to be available for you online on the website. Now, we've applied our base color. Now, normally I would let her curls separate themselves wherever they'd want, but because her hair isn't as curly as I normally work with, I'm gonna decide by looking at them that they're about that wide, okay? So I'm gonna break this section into three. Already in my head, I'm thinking, this guy is only gonna get tipped, and I'm only gonna color his tip down here. The middle guy, I'm gonna go to the middle. The last guy, I'm gonna go to just the tip. And the reason I'm doing that is I like a lot of depth in here. I call it neck contouring. If I can see that depth in there, to me, it makes my neck feel slimmer. So while I like highlights being back there for when you pull it up, I really like it being a little deeper down in here, getting brighter towards the top, the way the sun would normally do it. So I'm gonna grab my first curl. I've already decided I'm gonna only tip this guy. So I'm gonna go back into my darker color, my 5.0, and I'm gonna comb that down, okay? Big tip with curls, slide your color through the curls. Curls are coily and crunchy and have crevices and hide in there. You'll think you colored it total, and when you rinse it, you'll have candy cane stripes on the curl, okay? Run your finger through it, and I hold where my lightener is gonna go, and I kind of just slide that through, make sure the color's on there. Now, I should have started by warning you, you're gonna use a glove for the towel, because you're gonna wipe in between so that you're not getting bleach on your color and making a bigger mess. Okay, so have your towel ready. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my lightener, and I'm gonna do that from about 1/4 of an inch from where the darker color ends down, and make sure you get the back. Another, stretch your curls when you're applying your lightener. You want even distribution of that color. You don't want any peekaboos. So I give it a little stretch, saturate that, pull my color through. Now I don't mind that there's 1/4 of an inch in between my new color and my lightener. That's like a nice little buffer area in there that's seen for me. It blends the line for me. So I leave that. What I do is I grab the tail end of my color brush, and from where the lightener is down, I recurl that section. Now, why do I do that? Because curls are sensitive and fragile. Their cuticle is always sticking up on the edges. Every time that hair bends, that cuticle sticks up. So the color and lightener gets into it very quickly, very easily, which can cause some damage or loss of integrity. What we're doing, again, is using the best products possible to mimic any of that. And then by winding it back up, you're kind of, as it's swelling and decreasing, telling it the shape you want it to stay in. Kind of helps promote wonky curls from happening. You know, sometimes you color some curls and they hang a little longer than the curls that were not colored. If you had wrapped that, possibly it would have kept some of that curl retention and stayed curly. So that's my first curl. I went from there down. My next curl, because I went that far down on this one, on my next curl, I'm going to go a little higher so there can be a little contrast. And again, what this is going to do, as it grows out for her, it's going to be super graceful because she will have no harsh lines. She'll have no foil lines, no harsh lines, any of that, because it's almost curl by curl. Question: what would happen if it overlaps the color and the lightener? Nothing would really happen, except it would scare you, because you would see the oxidation process start happening where the bleach hits the color, but the bleach is much stronger than the color. And at the end, nothing happens. And I'll show you on the other side when we're done. I overlapped many times, sometimes on purpose, to give that depth where the color and the lightener blend a little bit of a mid-tone, and then the ends be light. Again, my girl's aesthetic is extremely bright, extremely contrasty, because that's who I am. So that's what I tend to do to my ladies, unless they specify. Okay? So for this one, we're going to go a little bit higher with our lightener. I'm going to put my finger where I'm going to do my lightener, and I'm going to go back to my color. And again, I'm going to pull that through, top and bottom, and sliding it through. Make sure we get even application in there. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Then we're going to go to our lightener, and we're going to lighten from there down. And again, make sure you lighten, and you see right there, I just overlapped some, and I'm not stressing over it because this is powerful stuff and we'll eat through that. Okay? Go through, saturate it, and then rewind it. Rewind, be kind. Okay? Also, what doing that lets me do is it lets me see where my line is. So I know I went lower, higher. Now I'm going to go lower again. Okay? Now, just for a second, let's chit chat. If your client wasn't like my girl and didn't want an entire head of tipped highlights, you could certainly go in there and leave one curl with nothing. Go to the next curl, lighten that one. Skip the next curl, lighten the next curl. And that's going to give your girl that entry into color, the entry into allowing you to highlight her, because you didn't do what a lot of unfortunate stylists do, which is throw 10 million foils in a curly head for them all to be swallowed up in the inside guts and not be seen, because we tend to see the surface on curls more than the insides. So by doing just the tips, you're going to give this girl tons of highlights, just not at the root where they disappear. So again, if you wanted less, skip out a curl in between. If you wanted more, take them all deep. If you wanted in between, do some deep, some tips, some deep, alternate it wherever you want, however you want. The only place I'm really, really, really heavy is around the face area, the money piece, because that's going to be what she sees. And when she pulls her hair back, that's what she's going to see. So you don't want to leave that the dark area, or she's really going to feel like she didn't get any highlights. Okay. So I'm going to go to the third curl. And again, this one, because this one went high, I'm going to take this one down lower and just do the tip. And again, don't feel bad for the tip guy, because the curl that comes above it is going to be blonde all the way deep. And it's going to give a chance to really shine because it has this little beneath. Okay. So I'm going to, again, grab my base color, pull that through. And again, curls have minds of their own. So make sure you get all of those cracks, all of those crevices, all of that in there. Diagonal parting for dimensions blends for curls. Yes, diagonal partings do blend well for curls. However, my issue is when they come back in 6 months and that diagonal curl has grown out and it's all on the ends, I can see those harsh lines of diagonal throw in there. And as a picky person, when I'm in line behind you in Ralph's and I see that diagonal line, I start thinking, oh, they should have blended there. Oh, they should have, it would have given her more longevity. So yes, feel free to throw diagonal. This is just another tool you can add in your toolbox to throw in with diagonals. Say do a few row of diagonals, a few row of these to customize them around her face. Okay, I'm going to get this one done and then I'm going to show you guys the end because we're getting close to time. But let's finish this guy. We've already put the base on to where we're going with our lightener. Grab our lightener and we're going to paint that through. And don't forget the back side again. The sides, the back, all the way around. And you notice I'm not paying harsh attention to my line of demarcation on each curl, because each curl by itself is so small. Even if it had an incredibly hard line of demarcation, it's one curl out of the bunch, so you're not going to be penalized for, well, not penalized, but you know what I mean, right? So there, I'm going to apply that, smooth it through, use my tip, wind my curl. And I feel like when I wind my curl, it also gives me a chance to zhuzh more of that lightener to make sure we've got complete saturation all the way around as I cut it. Okay. Right there, you can already see where we're going. She's going to have depth of color with lots of fun lightness at the ends. And as we keep going row by row, I'll show you one more and then we'll get to the end. Again, when I take my next section down, you know my rules. No hard lines in curls, no straight lines in curls. I use my finger and I zhuzh, 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 and I let the curl. There you go, Heather. I see you. Zhuzh, 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 and let it do its thing. I'm going a semicircle to make the entire circle. So I go right in here and I zhuzh, 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 and separate her. Okay, that would be my next section. Now, let me show you guys this again. You can't, there you go. Wait. There we go. And again. Now, because we've done this row with lots of depth, And you can already see the contrast in color starting to happen. I don't know if you can see it, but it's already starting to happen. Because we left this much depth on this row, I know I'm going to put a lot of lightness because it's going to have something to bounce back off of. So there's my curls, 3 curls. I'm going to take this one higher. I'm going to take this one just the tip down here and this one high to mimic. This one went high, so the one above it's only going to get the tip. These 2 went low, so the ones above them are going to go higher with lighter, and so on and so forth, okay? I'm going to apply this section, and then we'll move on, and I'll show you guys where this is going. If you have any questions, keep shooting them down at me. And again, I'm doing this with open air process for 2 reasons. The lightener is crazy amazing, and it's going to get you possibly lighter than you want, which is a fantastic problem to have. But even with open air on my brunettes, on my curlies and coilies, I'm getting amazing levels of lift. If I were going again for super contrasty or over pre-colored hair, I would have possibly put a foil around each curl and just squished them together, okay? But because I'm going for a lived-in, again, Saint-Tropez effect, I'm letting it air go. And the other side that I've already pre-done, I also let air process for 45 minutes total, okay? So again, here's my curl number 1, curl number 2, and curl number 3. Start with your base, comb that base color through, comb it up, comb it through. Make sure you're getting every hair. Every curl wants to be shiny. Every curl wants to be a star. All right, you're going to curl it. Now, use my comb, again, just to give a subtle diffusion. All right, let's make some piano keys. First one, we're going to go a lot of lightener because we used less lightener before. So I don't even have to bring any more base because I'm going to go right to where I blended that base in. Grab my lightener, and this one we're going to apply the entire thing. Okay. Don't forget the back side. Question, around the face, do you prefer more depth or more lightness? Personal preference, but I do like a little bit more lightness. Ask your girl when you're doing it if she wants the heavy maintenance of seeing the bright blonde around her face, or does she want it to look a little more grown out so she can live with it a little bit longer. Personally, because we're here to make money as stylists, I like to go a little heavier around the face. It requires her to come in a little sooner to keep it touched up with minimal cost for her because you can get away with just touching up the front and the hairline without doing all the guts in the interior every time. With curls, that's one of the advantages we have, you guys. We can do an entire head of highlights and bring them in a month and a half, and just do the hairline. Because again, the roots are hiding in the guts in there. You're not even gonna see them, okay? You can get away with telling her, we're gonna go real heavy around the front because that's what we're gonna keep working on. And then just keep hitting that front area up. But do keep in mind that when a curly girl pulls her hair back, if you're gonna leave depth, don't leave too much depth because then it becomes roots. If she pulls a ponytail and the whole ponytail is dark, she feels like she has no color. Even though it's all blonde over here, she feels like she has no color, okay? So keep that in mind with the hairline. Okay, I've got this guy going, and you can see how amazing this lightener is, and it's as I'm talking, I don't know if you can see it, but as I'm talking, it's already starting to lighten. Can you guys see that? It's already starting to lighten as I'm talking, which I love. Okay. So I've got her on there. Make sure there's even saturation. Curl your end. Okay. And there you go. Now, we're getting short on time, so let me show you guys what it does. You ready for the reveal, Heather?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Okay. So let's get this end out of the way. Again, this was the before over here. And here is her after. Okay, and what she's got going on again, there she goes. What she's got going on is lots of depth, lots of deep shadows in there, but lots of fun highlights. And I love doing it this way because I can really see it when I turn her upside down. I can really see all the layers of color going in there. You can see why I call it piano keys. Some go lower, Some go higher. You can stretch them out and see. Each curl has its own kind of starting point and ending point. Oh, there we go. No matter where you part her, she's not going to give you any harsh lines of demarcation because, again, you've done blending with your curl by curl by curl. And to me, again, right there, you can see right there, beautiful blends of dark light, which give depth to curls. This can grow out her with just getting her base touched up 4 months, 6 months. Or she can come get it touched up more, but I guarantee you, once you get a curly girl with beautiful highlights that she can wear out of her house and love, she'll be back for more every time, especially when you're using a line like this. That's going to be shinier and healthier feeling than it did when it started. Why? Because it has, as Gina likes to call her, prenatal vitamins already in there. The biotin, the collagen, and the baobab. Okay? Toning on her, I wanted to keep golden story, a Saint-Tropez story. So I mixed up a tiny bit of 8.0 with a tiny bit of 8.3 golden. And I ran it through, let it sit 15 minutes and rinsed it out. Because again, I wanted the harsh contrast. I wanted the kind of shock and awe of getting highlights, but I also wanted it to be a golden story. You can ash it out if you're an ash person and she wants ash, but always remember our clients ask us for ash because it's what they see on Instagram. It's what they're told. Remind your clients that if they have a warm skin tone, a golden blonde can appear ashy on them and actually be a little more complimentary to them than an ash tone. It's all about making them look their prettiest, not making them look like a picture they brought in. That's simply a reference point for you to know what she wants. It's up to us to add the tones, the colors that make it hers and personalize it to her, which again, that's why I love my Colors by Gina, 60 shades, all intermixable. You can create whatever it is you'd like. Ashy, golden, it's all yours. Okay? I think my time is up. I think I've done everything I can do. If you guys have any questions, I'm Richie Roman hairstylist on all of the platforms. Or get a hold of me on Colors by Gina page. Hope you guys got a little something out of this. Enjoy the rest of your quarantine because it's ending. And I'll give it back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Richie. Oh my gosh, bravo to that amazing. Look at that. Those bouncy, beautiful curls with all that beautiful saturation. Oh, I love that technique. For all, excuse me, for all of those who are needing more questions, of course, on the Facebook page today, we're going to give you a step-by-step picture story so that you know exactly what to do for your curly girls moving forward. So oh yeah, I love all this. Like, it's like the credits of a story. For those of you who are also going to join us on Monday, join me for a blue toning class at the Colors by Gina page. We will continually have these classes. We have amazing educators, as you can see, all over the country, and we want to give them the opportunity also to share their knowledge and to help support you, the stylist, to use the Colors by Gina line. At Colors by Gina, follow it at Beauty Expert Gina for Gina's Instagram, Richie Roman, hairstylist on Instagram, Facebook, and all of the above. And I'm Heather Nita Studio on Instagram. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys next time. So yeah, thanks for all the love. You're amazing.